Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to this short little video I'm going to put together, kind of a topical discussion for you. I'm going to just chat about Adrian Ballou's new project, Beat, which was just recently announced. Today is April 14th, 24, so it was about 2 weeks ago that it was like officially announced, but I'm sure all of you watching this channel are aware. Adrian Ballou has put together a band to perform and celebrate the music of the 80s version of King Crimson. This is big news. This is really, really cool. I'm super excited. I'll be seeing them at Massey Hall when they come around in October. I already got my tickets. And yeah, really, really cool stuff. I gotta give a shout out to one of my viewers as well who commented that it's probably worthwhile I should talk about this announcement. It's King Igor was the commenter, so thank you for motivating me to do something kind of topical. Um, but yeah, Beat, this band is going to be fantastic. So, it's noteworthy enough that, Baloo is going to be doing, the 80s Crimson stuff, but the lineup that he's put together is going to be sensational. I'm very excited for it. Um, obviously, it's Adrian Ballou on guitar and vocals. We got Tony Levin on bass, of course, King Crimson's own Tony Levin. Danny Carey on drums. That's a biggie. I mean, obviously, I'm a drummer. I'm a huge fan of Danny's playing. Danny's also been very open about King Crimson's influence on his career and whatnot, so that's super cool. And then most notably, we've got Steve Vai doing playing the role of the Fripp guitars, which is gonna be just it's so strange to think about that. It's obvious. It's easy to imagine a very young Steve Vai getting into the early King Crimson stuff and kind of soaking up Fripp's influence, but it's difficult to imagine Vai on stage doing Fripp's parts. I mean, obviously, Fripp is probably one of the least charismatic and flamboyant players when it comes to on-stage presence. And Vai is probably one of the most charismatic and flamboyant guitarists on stage. So that's going to be just watching Vai play, play Fripp stuff in his Vai way. It's going to be interesting. I'm very much looking forward to it, I must say. So yeah, as I mentioned before, it was officially announced a couple of weeks ago, so it's still fairly topical and fairly recent news. I must admit, I did kind of get a bit of a heads up, and I didn't actually believe it. So this was like over a month ago now. I was on my Facebook, and I saw a poster. I'm sure you've all seen it. The red poster. It's got the elephant on it, and I see like Baloo, Vai, Levin, and Carey, and just having just Steve Vai's name on that probably made me think, oh, this can't be legit. But of course, it turned out to be real. And it turns out that I guess the reason that it got leaked is one of the venues on the tour wanted to include it as part of like their seasonal promotion or whatever. They wanted to have like that poster, so I think the band just kind of said, "Oh yeah, okay, that's fine," kind of keep it on the down low or whatever. But that image of the elephant poster did get leaked, and I saw it. And like I said, I kind of took it with a grain of salt. I was like, I don't know. I messaged my buddy. I'm like, yeah, we should probably, stay on top of this. If they announce a tour, we got to get tickets. And then, sure enough, a couple of weeks ago, it was announced, and there was a big wave of cool stuff on YouTube talking about it. Most notably, if you haven't seen the interview that Rick Beato did, where he talks to the whole band, it's really worth it. It was a great interview. Lots of discussion about Fripp. Or lots of discussion about King Crimson as a whole, I should say. But it's kind of cool hearing Vai talk about Fripp and whatnot. They talk a lot about Zappa in the interview too. Obviously, both Adrian Ballou and Vai played the role of stunt guitarist in Zappa's band, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a tremendous show. I mean, as Fripp would say, expectation is a prison, but I don't know. You can put those four musicians in any venue in any context, and it's gonna be a pretty interesting show one way or another. So lots to look forward to there. And if any of my viewers are going to the Massey Hall show, keep an eye out, and I'll say hi. We'll shake hands or whatever it is. But yeah, and what's kind of cool about it, obviously, there's been the recent incarnation of King Crimson that kind of was around between 2014 to 2021, I think is when they wrapped it up. So long lasting incarnation with Jacko, the Jacko lineup we can call it, that had the three drummers and on the front line. I was lucky enough to see that version of the band three times. First time I saw them has forever been immortalized. I was lucky enough to be at the Toronto show. Give me 1 second here. I'll grab the CD case. So yeah, live in Toronto, 2015. I was at this show, so I always get to I feel I can brag about being a part of a bit of Crimson history there. And you won't the glare on that camera is so awful. But where am I? Where am I? Yeah, if you look really closely right there, you probably can't see tiddly squat, but you can see my hand waving up in the air from I think it was the seventh row. I was close enough that I could hear Mastelato's drums. We were right on Mastelato's side, and I could hear them acoustically as well as to the PA. So that was pretty cool. This is the first time I saw Crimson. Second time I saw them was at Massey Hall. That was 2017. That experience wasn't quite as good. I mean, I was kind of a last minute thing, and I bought tickets that were in an obstructive view. So most of the show, I had a big pole kind of right here, and I'm like leaning over like this to try and catch any glimpses of the action. But the first half of the show, I was kind of lucky because there was two seats beside me that were not taken, so I sat in the other seats until eventually the rightful owners of those seats came up and had to go back to my pool seat. But that was still a great concert. I remember my biggest memory of that concert was Level 5. I thought that was a tremendous take. Obviously, when you're in the moment at a Crimson show, sometimes things can really happen. I think it was about halfway through Level 5 at the 2017 Toronto performance, and you just really, the Level 5 is such a tense piece. There's so, there's what it's I can't even put the words together to describe it, but I really felt like, we as the audience were kind of collectively sucked into this black hole. It was a cool experience. It sounds very dark, but no, it was very good. But that was the moment that was the saving grace from being stuck behind a pole. And then the third time I saw Crimson was at Budweiser Gardens in Toronto, and that one was a bit disappointing. I remember the moment that I remember was them playing Discipline, which was really cool. And the problem with that show was the sound was just not good. I think that this would have been 2019. Yeah, this was 2019. It was about 2 months before I got married, actually. And yeah, the sound just wasn't good. I mean, there wasn't enough Tony, and it was kind of a larger venue for Crimson to play, and I think Fripp even discussed publicly that I think the aim of that particular tour was to kind of give everybody a chance to see King Crimson, right? It was a little bit more open. They were kind of almost felt like they were doing the Rockstar thing a little bit more in terms of playing bigger venues, but I think it was just give everyone that last chance to see the official band live, right? So I should go back to the show in Toronto, the one that was recorded at what was the venue? Queen Elizabeth Hall and the exhibition grounds. So the first show, the one that is on live in Toronto that I was at, the most notable thing, I remember when we all got there, there was lots of drama going on in the crowd. People were talking about how someone was trying to film the night before because it was a 3-night residency. We saw them on the second night. The first night was they did not play Schizoid Man because there was a persistent video person that was bothering the band, or at least one person in the band. But yeah, so everyone was kind of like extra hush hush, and everyone's telling you, like, don't get your phone out, don't get your phone out. And as it turned out, the show was tremendous, and that was the one that they chose to release as the official live document from the 2014 or 2015 tour. And it's cool because the liner notes talk about the night before and all that. So like I said, it's real nice that I've kind of got that little piece of Crimson history. But yeah, those are my Crimson experiences so far. I've always said, as a fan, I've been a Crimson fan for many years now, going way back to when I was, before I was even a teenager, I was listening to Crimson. But I always used to say to myself that of all the bands, of all the versions of Crimson that I'd like to see, I always said it was the 80s version. until I got into the live stuff, and then I realized no. In my opinion, the best Crimson is probably like 73, 74. That John Wetton period after Jamie Muir leaves the band. The Jamie Muir period is amazing as well, but it's the absence of Muir that led them on to create some of the most absolutely intense improvisations possibly ever created. I never had the money to get like the Starless box or like the Road to Red, like any those are some fantastic and amazing box sets. The amount of live concerts you get there, but just wasn't I wasn't financially set up to invest that much into those box sets. But I have collected a lot of the King Crimson Collectors Club stuff, and that's kind of what's led me to the conclusion that the Wetton era band is my favorite. But the '80s version is a very close second. There's some tremendous live stuff from the '80s. I think it's because they didn't improvise as much that I've probably softened a little bit. But the real winner for the '80s period is of course Absent Lovers. The Absent Lovers live album, live in Montreal, is possibly one of the greatest live albums ever put together. Like it just in terms of the band being on and everything just seems to be just right for that show. Um, but yeah, obviously, I'm very excited to see '80s Crimson put together. I guess I'll put a little bit of backstory. If you've anyone, I'm sure people have probably seen the Beato interview, but from what I got out of that, it sounds like Baloo wanted to put the Beat project together back in 2021 because that marked the 40th anniversary of Discipline, the first album by the '80s band. And I guess he spoke with Fripp, and Fripp kind of, said it wasn't really for him, but he kind of gave Baloo, the endorsement and said, hey, if you want to do this project, you've got my blessing, sort of thing. And then, there's all kinds of other stuff going on. Like well, I think it was the planning was before 2021 because obviously COVID happens after that, and the world shuts down, and then this, that, the other thing, and touring, and all like the backlog touring and whatnot. So they're the intention of going out in 2021 was never gonna happen, but we do have it now. And Fripp has also publicly endorsed the fact that Vi is playing guitar. So with Fripp's public endorsement, it kind of makes us feel like it is a pretty official thing, really. And of course, nobody can kind of capture those songs better than Baloo can. So I think it's great news all around. One of the criticisms of like the most recent Crimson, like the Jacko Crimson, um, was that in terms of the '80s material, it did get a little bit underrepresented, and I think there was some legal issues. I'm not sure of the exact details, but I think Baloo was uncomfortable with the new Crimson playing his songs, or at least singing his melodies. So there was some compromises. Like the new Crimson did do In Discipline, but they wrote a different melody to do the vocal stuff, which is cool. I prefer the older versions of Indiscipline by the '80s band, but the new band had to do Indiscipline. They with three drummers, you can't not groove on that stick line, right? And then I think we also got Neurotica. The second time I saw Crimson, they opened with Neurotica, I believe, which is a great opener. Um, but it was a slightly compromised version. It wasn't, we didn't get like the full, or I think maybe it was just they took out some of the vocals. I'm not really too sure. But in any case, that kind of, the new Crimson was great at covering everything except for that '80s period. So it's totally appropriate that we now have, an officially endorsed band with, Crimson members and, Crimson, fans or musicians that at least understand how to do the Crimson thing. That's now going to be out there representing that period in Crimson history. So, um, good, exciting news all around. I'm very stoked. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the video that I'm doing yet or not, but I do intend to put a King Crimson like playlist together for my own channel. I couldn't when I started doing these videos again, I couldn't remember if I did it or not, to be honest. And I was kind of browsing through, and it's like, oh shoot, yeah, looks like I never did it. Um, but yeah, that'll be a pretty easy discography to go through. I'm not going to do it right away because I've kind of got my mindset on something else at the moment. But talking about the studio albums at Crimson shouldn't be too difficult. So there's only 13 albums total, I think. Um, so yeah, I'll definitely do Crimson videos soon. Probably maybe it'll be closer to the event when I see Baloo, because I'll be all full of Crimson motivation, I guess. But yeah, just a fun little topical video. Thanks again to King Igor for recommending I do that. I should do more topical stuff. I could probably also talk about the Dream Theater news. That's unrelated to what I'm talking about now, but obviously Mike Portnoy being back in Dream Theater is a big deal. I know I haven't done Dream Theater videos either, but I'm a big fan, of course. And I was delighted that just a little aside. So one of my good concert going buddies, we're always looking for the best shows to go see, and we were all excited about, oh yeah, Dream Theater's got Portnoy back. We should probably go see Dream Theater this year. And then we find out that Beat is a thing, and we decided, okay, no, absolutely, we have Beat takes priority. We must see Baloo and Vi and Carrie and Levin. And shortly after I got the tickets, Dream Theater announced their first tour, and they're not even coming to North America yet. So there's probably a good chance that we'll be able to see Dream Theater next year. So that'll be cool. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got before ranting completely incoherently. So yes, thanks to Adrian Ballou, Steve Vai, Danny Carey, and Tony Levin for making this project work. I'm really looking forward to it. And if any of my viewers are at Massey Hall in October, I forget the actual date, but yeah, keep an eye out. We'll have a beer or something. Right on. Thanks a lot for watching, and you'll see me in the future. Take care.